When I was 14, it hit me slowly. I was just a background character in my family's story. It wasn't a lightning strike of realization, but a quiet ache that settled deep after countless birthdays forgotten, empty bleachers at my games, and silent seats at parent-teacher meetings. My sister Chloe was the golden child, the miracle after Mom's painful miscarriage. She shone like a spotlight, and I was the dim glow that faded once the morning came. Chloe had everything: private lessons, weekly violin practice, a brand new phone every year, and a bedroom straight out of a magazine. Me. I shared space with a laundry room and was told that hand-me-downs built resilience. First, I tried not to mind. I convinced myself they just had more to give after Chloe arrived, that since I was older I didn't need much. But it's hard not to notice when you're pedaling a rusty bike to school while your sister is chauffeured in a sleek Audi to a recital she barely prepared for. Dad would say, "We're raising 2 kids, not running a race." But it always felt like a competition I never entered, one where the winner was picked before I even took a step. Then came the Christmas before Chloe turned 18. I had earned a scholarship to a local college, worked part-time since 15, kept a perfect GPA, helped around the house and tutored Chloe. None of that seemed to register. That morning I woke up early out of routine, not hope. I expected a card or maybe a hoodie. Instead, there it was, shiny silver wrapping, a huge bow in the driveway. A brand new Lexus. No questions needed. Chloe yelled and sprinted to it like she was in a commercial. Parents smiled, took pictures, and told her to pose with the bow. I watched from behind the living room curtains, silently wishing. Finally, Dad turned and said, "We didn't forget you." He wheeled out a bike from the garage. A second-hand one with a flat tire. "You can use this to get to class." It wasn't about the bike. It was what came next. "You're more practical. Chloe needs something impressive for her internship. You don't care about flashy stuff, right?" I didn't. I bit my cheek, nodded, and said, "Thanks." I spent the day in the attic, staring out a small round window as snow fell, wrapping my hurt in quiet like a gift I never wanted but had to pretend to appreciate. But inside that quiet, something shifted. Not a breakdown, more like a plan forming. I started plotting, quietly and carefully. Every "you're tougher" and "you're used to less" fueled me. I took extra shifts at the campus bookstore, taught myself coding, and started fixing websites on the side. When not studying or working, I was learning about taxes, investments, flipping old gadgets, and buying stocks others mocked. I graduated early with honors. Chloe. She quit her internship, called it too stressful, and took a gap year. My parents still missed it. They sent her off to Bali to recover from burnout. Meanwhile, I moved into a shoebox apartment, worked in my car between classes, and eventually pitched my tech service to a small investor. It wasn't much at first, but it grew. Slowly, steadily. The quiet, invisible grind I'd honed for years suddenly bloomed into a business worth noticing. And I made sure the first person to notice it was me. By Christmas of my senior year in college, things had changed radically. I didn't ride that bike anymore. I didn't need to. I drove something else now. But that part of the story comes next. Christmas morning came again, exactly 1 year later. But this time, I didn't wake up in a cramped apartment with snow leaking through the window panes. I woke up in a high-rise suite overlooking the skyline, floor-to-ceiling glass windows and underfloor heating warming the life I had built from scraps they left behind. My company had just secured a 6-figure contract with a global cybersecurity firm. I had 5 employees, a growing reputation, and a custom-ordered Bentley Continental GT waiting downstairs. A reward I gave myself the day I signed my first $1 million deal. It wasn't about the money. It was about no longer needing to knock on locked doors, hoping someone would let me in. But this Christmas, I had decided I would go back home. Not because I missed them, but because I wanted them to see. I didn't call. I didn't text. I just drove. The roads were quiet, dusted in soft snow, and the drive felt like floating through a forgotten chapter of my past. When I pulled into the same driveway where they once gave my sister Chloe a Lexus and handed me a used bicycle, the garage door was open. The same broken lawn chair sat inside. The same old bike hung crooked on the wall. Chloe's Lexus was nowhere to be seen. Apparently, she had wrecked it last summer and blamed the brakes. My parents covered it under their insurance and let her borrow their SUV. She had since moved back in after the stress of travel became too much to handle. My mom now referred to her as a delicate soul. I walked to the door, knocked, and waited. Dad opened it. His eyes flicked to the car parked behind me, a black Bentley that shimmered against the white snow. He blinked, confused. Is that a rental? I just smiled. No, it's mine. Chloe came down the stairs in designer pajamas. My guess, another gift from them. Oh wow, she sneered. Did you win a contest or something? I laughed in a way. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Mom walked in from the kitchen and froze mid-step. She held a mixing bowl in one hand and in the other, the same look of pleasant disappointment she'd always worn when looking at me. But this time it cracked. What are you doing here? She asked. I didn't answer right away. I just looked around the living room, still decorated the same, the tree stuffed with color-coordinated presents. I spotted one with my name on it. Probably socks, maybe a mug. I thought I'd bring my gift this time, I said, reaching into my coat pocket and pulling out a white envelope. What is it? My dad asked warily. I handed it to him. He opened it, unfolded the document, and read it. His face drained. What is this? It's a deed, I said. To this house. Chloe gasped. Mom dropped the mixing bowl. It shattered against the tile. I bought it, I said calmly. 3 weeks ago, I didn't want to mention it until the paperwork was finalized. You bought our house, my mom barked. You think you can just show up? No, I interrupted. I know I can. Because I did. The bank accepted my offer. The house was on the verge of foreclosure, Mom. Guess those trips to Bali weren't free after all, huh? You can't just kick us out. Chloe snapped. Actually, I said, pulling out another envelope. These are the notices. You have 30 days. Dad was still silent, still holding the paper like it was foreign. You've always said I was the practical one, I said. So I made practical moves. You raised a businesswoman, without even realizing it. Chloe threw her hands up. This is insane. You're being vindictive. No, I said, stepping toward the door. I'm just returning the favor. Remember last Christmas? Do. Every pedal on that bike. Every sleepless night. Every you're used to less. I remembered. Mom was red with fury now, shaking. We gave you a roof, food, and this is how you repay us? I turned back one last time. You gave me the basement. You gave her the world. I just bought the land you built it on. I walked out as they stood frozen, and stepped into my Bentley with a deep, slow breath. The engine purred to life, soft and powerful, just like I had become. Then I drove past them, on Christmas morning, like they never existed. A few weeks later, the house was officially mine. Legally, emotionally, symbolically. My parents didn't say goodbye when they left. Chloe posted cryptic messages online about betrayal and ungrateful family, pretending she had been wronged. But I didn't respond. I didn't need to. I spent the first night alone in that house, walking room by room, letting the silence wrap around me. I touched the walls they'd once used to isolate me, stared at the corner where my childhood desk used to be, and opened the closet they once told me was all the space I needed. It felt like walking through the skeleton of an old war. But I wasn't the same girl they used to ignore. A month later, the same town that had watched me pedal that rusted bike in shame, now lined up outside my new office building. My company's headquarters, built in the same district they once mocked for being beyond your reach, had my name on it. Big, bold, permanent. And at the grand opening, during a media interview, a journalist leaned in and asked, "What inspired you to start this?" I smiled slowly. A bicycle and a Bentley. But that wasn't the twist. A few days after the story went viral, I received a letter. Handwritten. From my grandmother. The one they always claimed had left nothing behind when she passed. But inside that envelope was a copy of her original will. It clearly stated, "My savings, stocks, and jewelry shall go to my first grandchild, the one who always made the effort to visit, even when no one else cared." Enclosed was the account number. 7 figures. They had lied. They always knew. And now, all that inheritance, already transferred, already invested, already mine. Just like the justice they never saw coming. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in the comments where you're watching this video from.